Well, welcome back to the Valley Hoops Insider podcast, part of the Valley Hoops Insider website. I'm Harry Schroeder. That's Brigham Rogers, the big man from Belmont University, 6'9", 240 pounds. Is that accurate? 6'9", 240?
Yeah, in the preseason, I've been around 235 or 240, but I've been that basically since I got here. So yeah, it's pretty accurate.
I jumped right into it. I'm supposed to say thank you. I really do appreciate you taking time to meet with me tonight. I've been wanting to hang out and spend time with you for quite a while. I love your game.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm glad that we're able to do this. I've been looking forward to it.
6 point, a little over 6 points a game last year, right around four rebounds, 30 something games your freshman year, but then started 30 games last year. Talk about your growth, your development as a player there at Belmont.
Yeah, I think since my freshman year, I've had a lot of confidence in myself on the defensive end and the offensive end. I started to grow in that as my freshman year went on, and I carried that into parts of my sophomore year. And I think this upcoming year, I'm looking forward to growing that even more. But I pride myself on being a consistency on the team, being available and doing the things that the coaches need out of me to help our team win at the highest level. And that's something that I look to continue to do this year going forward.
Two-time All-State guy, I think, in the state of Georgia, and you get recruited to Nashville by Casey Alexander. How did you end up at Belmont?
Yeah, they were the earliest in the door for sure. They started recruiting me at the summer going into my junior year. And then they offered me the spring going into my senior year. I went on an unofficial visit pretty early. Coach Rutigliano, he's no longer on staff, but he was the one who recruited me. I had a great relationship with him. Um, and he showed me around campus the first time in 2021 when there wasn't a ton of people on campus. They were still wearing masks, so it was
Hmm.
definitely a different experience then. And then the summer after on an official. But throughout the whole process, I fell in love with the staff, what Belmont was about, the history of the program, and the type of guys that had succeeded there. And it was a no-brainer for me.
What were the selling points beyond that? I mean, the campus is beautiful. You're a two-time honor honor roll guy there at Belmont. About the academics, the campus, tell me about those kinds of things.
Yeah, I had some meetings with people in the business school, and those all went well. I enjoyed my time there. But just knowing the pedigree and the standard of excellence that Belmont has had for around 25 years now, and wanting to be a part of that at the next level was definitely huge for me and brought me here.
We talked about your growth as a player. Are there times and moments when the light kind of goes on a little bit more as a young guy is developing? I remember your freshman year. I think you only had two double-digit scoring games the whole season. One was the last game of the year, and then
Mm.
and then one was the first game of the Arch Madness tournament. And then last year, you're scoring more, you're playing more, but you have that four-game streak in January where, man, you're just popping off in four straight games in double digits. Are there moments like that when you can feel it just change or happen, or am I just reading too much into that stuff?
No, yeah, you're right on point. Yeah, those last two games of my freshman year and also that stretch last year, it's it's kind of hard to describe, but it's you're thinking less, especially on offense for me. You're just thinking less about everything that you're doing. You're confident in your ability to score, even if it's going one on one and you necessarily didn't have like a huge advantage, just having confidence in your ability and going for it without second thought. I think that has led me to a lot of success in the past. And I don't think I didn't play like that nearly enough last year, like you talked about that stretch. I mean, we had JP and Carter, who were both really good ball dominant players last year, and I was playing off of them most of the year. And even in those games I was too, but I was just doing it at a higher level in those games, and that was in our off-season meetings this past spring and going into this year. The coaches, they loved what they saw in those games, and they know that I have the capability to do that, and they want to see that on a more consistent level. And I think that's what I'm looking to do more often this year.
When people think about Belmont, they think about Casey's backdoor cuts and shooting threes and all of that. But your squad is one of the tops in the nation every year at 2 point baskets as well. And you've got all those big guys. You had a host of big players, bigger players last year. And Drew is back. Sam Orem is back. Lemke and Dillon. You've got a great amount of depth in the post or in the front court. How is Casey going to manipulate and maneuver all you guys?
Yeah, I don't really know how it will work out, but I know that we'll have all those guys will play at least a little bit. We all bring something different to the table. Sam and Drew both had great years last year, and Owen is a really promising player as well who redshirted last year, and we just got graded in from Gonzaga. These are his first couple days of official practice this past week, but they're all very capable offensively in their own ways. Owen, Sam, and Graydon are all great shooters, and that always adds a level of difficulty for opponents in guarding a big. And me and Drew, even we do a lot of the same things. However, we have different strengths on the margins that complement each other well.
He had a terrific freshman season, and I thought you guys complemented each other well when you combine your stats. You guys were getting 11 and 8, out of the post position and really getting it done. You mentioned Lemke. What do you see just in those early couple of days of his arrival?
Yeah, he's got a lot of talent on offense. He's a competitor for sure. He got here. He came on a visit in June, and he got here in July and stayed up here in July. But we've only really started team workouts these past couple days. So I mean, he hasn't had the luxury of going through a lot of the breakdowns that we did during our summer workouts. And we'll do that over the next couple weeks, but we really haven't done that in the first couple days. We've mainly been playing, but even his natural feel, he hasn't looked out of place there at all,
Hmm.
as one would expect for someone who is just being kind of thrown into the fire, but he's adapted really well. His feel on offense is great. He's fit in really well, and I think he'll continue to grow as he gets more experience.
Talk about your game in the off season coming out. You mentioned those meetings at the end of the year. What do Casey and the coaching staff want you to be growing in, developing in? What are you working on?
Yeah, I think the biggest mindset shift for me going into this next year is playing more freely, particularly on offense, being more aggressive and getting to the rim, getting to the paint, even if it's not like a shot for myself. If there's a duck in or something that gets me the ball in the paint, I have a lot of confidence in myself to be able to find others, and the coaches do as well. So I think being more aggressive and less timid when it comes to going for those drives, as well as kind of reshifting our offense to be more unpredictable, is something that the coaches and the team are learning in our early practices, and we're trying out new things to kind of get ourselves out of rhythm, even
Hmm.
if that sounds kind of contrary to what you want to do, but kind of break the old rhythms of last year. If the other team's going on a run, you kind of just default into the offense and you're not really playing with purpose. And we're trying to get to the point where those possessions, when we're kind of just going through the motions, aren't wasted. And there's even less. Casey provides us with a lot of flexibility on the different actions that we choose, but he's trying to open the door even more so. And in that department to make it more unpredictable while everybody also still tries to play to their strengths.
You mentioned the ability, your confidence in being able to find the open man as well. For a post player like yourself to average over 1 assist a game, that people don't, that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot for a post player to be averaging more than 1 assist a game.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of my game that I've enjoyed being able to use from the top of the key. A lot of our sets last year, I was starting at the top of the key, and we do a lot of stuff through me, whether dribble handoffs, swing and screen, or back cuts. And when that stuff works really well, it's a lot of fun to throw those passes and get guys wide open looks.
You talked about being more aggressive. When I watch you play, almost every time I watch you play, I'm like, he's this close to exploding. He's this close to becoming one of those dominating kind of big men. Does it feel like that to you? Like, man, I'm just 1 inch away from that.
Yeah, I mean, there's always area for improvement, but I think that last year and going into this year, there were ways that I could have impacted the game at a higher level by having a higher level of confidence in my ability and taking advantage of that and not just kind of defaulting to others because, I mean, we're all taught to be unselfish here. That's a huge point of emphasis. Um, but I think when you have an advantage or you're in a spot where you know that you have a good chance of scoring, taking advantage of that and living with the results is something that I can definitely grow in.
I'm looking forward to seeing that explosion this year. Um, when you talk about Casey Alexander, and I've got nothing but immense respect for him. What are a couple of Casey isms? What are some things he says often or things he emphasizes a lot? Can you give me a couple?
Um, yeah, I think a lot of it last year was defensively. We went through periods of being really bad across the board. And I mean, that's not like an individual defender thing or talent thing. Like almost 80 to 90% of that is just like being locked in, taking pride, and being the guy for your teammate and not having a defensive breakdown. He put a lot of emphasis on that last year, and we saw a lot of growth towards the end of the season and into the conference tournament. But yeah, he's definitely an interesting personality. Um he definitely has some isms. I don't know if any specific ones are coming to mind, but he has a lot of fun with it. And I think we all enjoy him as a coach.
He's a terrific one. When you're a post player, obviously you want to take the ball inside, outside, all the different things. But having the nation's best 3-point shooter out there waiting for the rock or having it in his hand in Tyler Lundblade, that's got to make your job a little better as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Learning to play off him last year was definitely an experience because the type of actions that we're looking for him versus anybody else is definitely different. Like playing, I mean, nobody's really going to help off him, so playing with a lot of speed and incorporating like action after action with him helped us a lot last year and helped him to get open, but I think he's grown a lot as a player in this offseason and adding more than just shooting to his game. I think the threat of those abilities and being able to use those abilities when defenders aren't helping off of him and creating looks for other people while we're all trying to create looks for him. I think he's been a huge addition this past year and will definitely be a huge part of what we do this year.
You talked about Carter and Brody. You guys you guys lost a number of players, obviously graduation, different things. Nick McLean, Isaiah West, Jack Smiley, rather. Talk about those guys, new guys that are on your roster.
Yeah, they're all great pieces in their own way. Nick and Isaiah, experienced guards who have played at the mid-major level. They're both very good defensively. They're both great playmakers. They're both very athletic. And they've both Isaiah had he dealt with a little bit of injuries in June, so he missed some time practicing. So um, I haven't played as much with him on the same teams during practice, but in the time that I have shared, I mean, he's been a great facilitator. He's fantastic at getting to the rim. He fights through screens. He's a competitor, and the same thing with Nick. They're uh they're more similar to each other than Jack is. Jack's more of a scoring guard, great shooter, and he has his own kind of craftiness when he gets into the paint offensively, and he's definitely fit in well. He hasn't looked like a freshman
Hmm.
in a good way for sure.
I always ask players two questions when I get to know them. Why the number you wear? Is there a reason behind the number? And where's your favorite place to play that isn't at Belmont?
Yeah, so I switched to 12 this year because 21 got retired. Ian Clark,
Hmm.
who played here over a decade ago, had a lot of success. The athletic director and one of our coaches, they said I could keep the number for the rest of my time here, but I just felt like it was right to switch. And there's really nothing more than just flipping the digits. There's no deeper meaning behind that, but I thought 12 would be a good number.
Nothing
And
special there. And then where do you like to play? Maybe it's a Missouri Valley school. Maybe it's someplace else that isn't Belmont that you really enjoy playing.
yeah, there's that's one thing about the Valley. There's great road environments all across the conference. Belmont being newer to D1. I mean, we've been D1 for over 2 decades now and had a lot of success, but not having the same history with being a big part of Nashville. It's definitely different for those schools that have been in the Valley for a very long time and have had those fans come back year after year. So schools like Southern Illinois, Illinois State, and Bradley, and really every road game is always fun. But those environments specifically have been a lot of fun over the last couple years. Their fans always show support, even if it's against us. It's still a very fun place to play all the
Is is there a particular team that a lot of people want to make Murray State and Belmont rivals? Is that a thing for the players or for the Belmont side of that conversation?
Yeah, I think it might have lost a little bit of its luster in the transition to the Valley just because, like, I mean, neither of us have been at the top, so it's hard to. I mean, the rivalry still means something. To beat them is a lot of fun, and that game always means a lot. But when we aren't playing at the level that we expect to play at, it's hard to kind of deem it as that marquee game that it was in the past. So we're definitely trying to get to that higher level to kind of bring more importance to that game.
Yeah, back in the OVC days, those two teams were knocking each other crazy for the top of the conference every year.
Mhm.
In this new era of NIL, and now they're talking about rev sharing, and I don't understand any of it. And maybe you are an expert because after all, you're a business administration guy. Um, but what is that like for the players? I'm not asking you, who's giving you X dollars, but what's that like for the players to navigate, to listen, to be involved in any of those kinds of conversations?
Yeah, it's definitely something that we're all learning about more and more each year. I mean, I feel like each year it's gotten more and more integrated into the system of what college basketball is and is impacting the transfer portal in a greater way almost every year. But at least here, a lot of that's on our own. Kind of like we have the freedom to do individual deals, as long as they're not conflicting with like brand deals that the school has with certain partners. But at this point and at this level, there's really not as much action or intrigue as the higher levels of college basketball and the pros. So it's not something that impacts us as much as it does other schools, but it's definitely something that as a school and a program we're still having to learn and adapt to.
So if you like barbecue, you could work out a deal with Joe's Barbecue down the street, and they could give you money. I mean, you can work at it individually like that.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a good example for sure.
And so, what kinds of things are interesting to Brigham Rogers that you could say, man, I ought to go look for a deal in this world?
Yeah, I really haven't had much knocking at my door at all. But if I mean, I would really be open to anything depending on what that would look like. But yeah, nothing really specific, but I'm definitely open to anything.
It's such a wild world now. Like I feel like every month the laws change, something rearranges, and I don't know what to expect for any of the players either. So I was interested in your ideas, your thoughts about how it's impacting you. The Before I let you go, the when I think about Belmont and the whatever it's been now, 19, 20 years in a row with at least 20 wins and all the different conference championships and all of that, Coach Bird before Coach Alexander and the two of them so similar and all of that. What is that legacy? What is that tradition? What's that feel like for a Belmont Bruin player running out on the court or at practice every day? You see the banners, you know the names. It's the court's named after one of the coaches. Like what is that like? That legacy, that tradition that you're playing in.
Yeah, just meeting Coach Bird, and seeing him a few times over the past couple of years and seeing how people talk about him and how well he's respected. It's great to see. He's a great man and he was a great leader for this program for a very long time. And I think Casey has brought that same culture, that same level of respect for the game that he had for all those years, into his tenure. And it's kind of hard to describe. It's somewhat intangible, but the culture and the level of respect we are expected to have for those who do a lot for us, those working at the school, in the program, people we interact with on the road, kind of all that. We're expected to have a very high level of maturity and respect for those who are working to serve us, or even if it's for a temporary stay, like in a hotel or a restaurant, like wanting to be different um, from other teams or people who come through there is definitely something that Belmont prides itself on, and it's kind of hard to put a word or quantify it, but it's definitely something that is expected, and makes the program really special.
I love that. And tell me about the license plates on the wall, and then what do you do for fun away from the basketball game?
Oh yeah, these license plates, they're from every state that I lived in growing up.
Wow,
I
you
was
moved
born,
around.
yeah, I moved around. I've lived in Georgia for 15 or 16 years now. So I mean that's my hometown. That's where I grew up, but I was born in Florida, moved to Colorado for 2 years. My dad got a job out there on with Focus on the Family, and then moved back to Tennessee, southeastern Tennessee, where my grandparents lived for about a year, and then to Georgia. Um, so a couple of those are illegitimate. Like I got the Florida one. I didn't, my parents didn't have the old license plate. I got that at the thrift store, but the other ones are legit.
So when I get rid of getting rid of a car, I need to save my Missouri license plate just for you.
Yeah, yeah, I'll definitely be interested in that.
So tell me what you do away from the game. What interests you, and do you have thoughts about what your major in business administration is going to take you to?
Yeah. With business, I'm really looking to gain experience kind of anywhere where there's an opportunity. I don't have like a sharp definition on exactly what I want to do, but I think after basketball, applying myself to a certain field and kind of learning what that feels like and how fulfilling that is, and then going from there based on that experience, is something that I'm looking forward to. And outside of basketball, I think faith is a huge part of my life. Taylor Barnett is a former player from Belmont, and he does a Bible study Sunday nights, starting I think this week, throughout the school year with Belmont, Lipscomb, Trevecca, and Vanderbilt, the schools in Nashville. And that's been a huge blessing for me in my faith walk, and having him as a mentor and a role model for me, and watching how he breeds community and relationship between those schools. When I mean, us and Lipscomb are playing against each other, we play Trevecca sometimes. So being able to meet those people, build relationships with those people, and be in the Word on Sunday nights, and that adding to my faith walk, that's definitely a huge thing that I've been thankful for, and something that I do outside of basketball.
Spectacular. I know Tyler Lundblade is a real fervent believer as well, and
Yeah, he's there on Sunday nights as well.
love that. Love that. I appreciate your time today. I wanted to get to know you. I am expecting a gigantic year out of you this year. I want you to remember that every time you go on the floor, that bald guy thinks I'm going to be great. So
Yeah.
I appreciate your time. Wish you all the best, you and Belmont, and tell Casey hi for me, would you please?
Yes, sir, I absolutely will. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate that. That's Brigham Rogers, the Belmont Bruins center. They're going to be pretty good this year. They're going to be deep up front, deep in the backcourt. They're going to be awful tough in the Missouri Valley Conference. Folks, thanks for watching today. We appreciate it every time you do. And remember, since you've been there, make it a better place. We'll see you again real soon.